to today's episode of Mental Health is Horrifying. I'm your horror Barbie host of darkness, Candis Green, psychotherapist and all-around spooky bitch, podcasting from my bat-filled cave in Toronto, Canada. It's officially summer, and now that school's out, what better way to spend the summer than by going to camp? And how are we going to get to summer camp? Let's take the Hot Mess Express to Camp Arawak, aka Sleepaway Camp, where PTSD is a term no one has ever heard of before, where the entire staff belong in a federal prison, and where the kids are mean enough to trigger a homicidal rage that has been lying dormant in you for years. This episode contains spoilers because Sleepaway Camp has been out since 1983, so if you haven't seen it, that's on you. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's check out Sleepaway Camp and the importance of trauma-informed spaces. It's the 1970s, so the shorts are short and the sunscreen is non-existent. So John takes his kids, Angela and Peter, out for a fun afternoon boating on the lake. Sadly, some reckless, good-for-nothing teenagers mow them down, killing John and one of the children. 8 years later, Angela, the surviving child, is traumatized and lives with her weird-as-hell Aunt Martha and cousin Ricky. Aunt Martha ships Angela and Ricky off to Camp Arawak for the summer, where Angela is mercilessly bullied by campers and staff members for her shy, introverted disposition, a clear response to the trauma she has experienced throughout her life. Cousin Ricky tries his best to protect Angela, but it's hard. Not only are the kids really mean, but the head chef is a pedophile and tries to assault Angela. It is at this point that a string of gruesome and mysterious murders begin happening. The first to go is the pedo in the kitchen, followed by the deaths of campers and staff by an unseen assailant. Was camp canceled? Absolutely not. But they did play an awesome game of baseball in the shortest shorts known to man, just to be safe. One of the campers, Paul, is able to connect with Angela, and they strike up a bit of a camp romance. Angela oscillates between wanting to be close to Paul, wanting to pull away, and then wanting to pull all the way away when she catches him smooching another one of the campers, Judy, in a double whammy of humiliation because Judy has been the meanest one to her, the betrayal. In the finale, we find Angela on the beach with Paul, but it's not exactly a romantic moment because she has beheaded him, and it is revealed that Angela is actually her presumed dead brother Peter. After Aunt Martha had gained custody of the kids, she decided to raise Peter as Angela, the girl she had always wanted. So Angela is really Angela 2 now. It's kind of confusing. But anyways, everyone is dead, and Angela is the killer. The end. In case you aren't super familiar with this film, its legacy is a very complicated one. While some see Angela as transgender representation in a genre where there hadn't been much, certainly not in the 80s, others view Angela as a grotesque characterization of transness as monstrous, while others do not view Angela as trans at all. All viewpoints are valid because horror is subjective, and you're entitled to your viewpoint. I myself am very confused about what this movie means and feel like I will never be able to figure it out. Alice Collins, a queer trans woman who works in horror, wrote an article for Bloody Disgusting about Sleepaway Camp and said this: I've seen people on message boards saying over and over that Angela is just a boy, but it's like they're ignoring the other elephant in the room. The sequels tell an entirely different story to their interpretation. Angela stays a woman and lives in society as a woman. She uses binary feminine pronouns. Angela considers herself a woman. Going through therapy isn't going to enforce a gender of your choosing. It'll bring out the true gender and force you to face hard truths about yourself. So despite Aunt Martha being insane, she just happened to stumble upon a person who was already a girl, and it was an accident that her brainwashing worked. I tried to track down the legacy of writer-director Robert Hiltzik to hopefully contextualize the movie more and try to understand his intentions a bit better. Sleepaway Camp was shot at the same summer camp he attended as a child called Camp Algonquin, which is located in Argyle, New York. Man, I wonder what happened for him while he was at summer camp. A terrifying prospect. He made a remake of his own movie, Return to Sleepaway Camp, in 2008, but other than that, I couldn't find any other film credits for him, so this story must have really meant something to him. He must be very passionate about summer camp. But maybe his intentions for this movie don't really matter? There's this concept called la mort de l'auteur, or death of the author. This concept was made popular in a 1967 essay by a French literary critic named Roland Barthes. He said that the moment an artist finishes a piece and shares it, the artist loses control over its meaning. Barthes argues against traditional literary criticism practice of relying on the intentions and biography of an author to definitively explain the ultimate meaning of a text. Instead, the essay emphasizes the primacy of each individual reader's interpretation of the work over any one definitive meaning intended by the author, a process in which subtle or unnoticed characteristics may be drawn for new insight. It's also important for the viewer to be able to project whatever they need to onto the story or the characters. This is an important psychological function. So at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter what Hiltzik's intentions were. It matters how this movie makes you feel and what it means to you. Sleepaway Camp is a much beloved film in the horror community. Fans line up to meet cast members at fan cons, and the image of Angela doing her weird scream at the end has become legendary. Whether you love it or hate it, that's up to you. That's my favorite thing about horror. It is such a diverse genre, and it can be so divisive too, but horror is an exercise in learning to tolerate different opinions, different tastes, and different flavors. I'm a pink pony girl, and maybe you're a gore hound. We don't all have to like the same things, and that is absolutely okay. Quick note about pronouns for the purposes of this episode. I'm going to use she/her pronouns for Angela because that is what Angela goes by as she progresses through life in Sleepaway Camp sequels. Whoo boy, where do we begin with Angela's trauma? Angela witnessed her father and sibling being murdered by a boat, driven by wild, good-for-nothing teenagers. She was then sent to live with her aunt, who seems like she is insane, respectfully. Judging by Aunt Martha's complete detachment from reality, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Angela did not receive any grief support following the savage loss of her family. Aside from Martha deciding that she wanted to raise Angela as a girl, what kind of psychological toll does it take on a child to have to go through life pretending that your sibling, Peter, is dead, but you are actually Peter, and you are also Angela too, because Angela 1 is really the one who is dead? I have a hard time keeping that straight. I can only imagine what it was like for a small child. Angela's grief is disavowed, meaning it has gone unacknowledged and she is not even allowed to speak about it because no one is supposed to know that Angela 1 is dead and Angela 2 has had to go through life pretending that her original self, Peter, is dead, which of course could be a metaphor for transitioning, but honestly, who knows? This movie is like a therapist watching a trauma-uninformed car crash. Irregardless, Angela's disavowed grief metabolizes into PTSD, and let's go through some of her symptoms of post-traumatic stress, shall we? Flashbacks. While exploring her burgeoning teenage sexuality at summer camp, Angela has flashbacks to her father being gay. This flashback causes Angela to want to stop being intimate with Paul, perhaps signaling that Angela's father's sexuality was yet another secret that was kept in shame within her family. Depression. Angela demonstrates a lack of interest in social activities while at summer camp. She is always sitting on the bench observing and rarely participates. This could be another PTSD symptom, which is avoidance of trauma-related events, like the entire summer camp. Boats, water, outside, trees, teenagers, girls, boys, homoerotic crop tops, etc. These are triggers for Angela, so she does her best to avoid them, lest they trigger her homicidal feelings. Oh, too late. Anxiety. Angela has extreme social anxiety. At times, she is even unable to speak to her peers, exhibiting a sort of freeze or shutdown response to being in a very triggering environment. Extreme anger / homicidal tendencies. Angela's anger spirals out of control when she is triggered at summer camp, and honestly, can you blame her? Not only has she not received any trauma-informed care throughout her young little life, but the camp is further traumatizing her by hiring a pedophile as the head cook at the camp, and he tries to attack Angela. She then dumps a vat of boiling water on his face, and he dies a horrible, painful death. And honestly, good for you, Angela. Now, does Angela's murder style indicate disorganized attachment? After experiencing early childhood trauma, Angela both craves connection and is terrified by it, creating an attachment style characterized by a push-pull dynamic, or in Angela's case, a stab, boil, archery, toilet bees, drown dynamic. Further to the trauma-uninformed nature of Camp Arawak, were any parents called when people started dying? Surely some parents and/or guardians should have been informed so that they could A, provide emotional support to their traumatized children, and B, so that they could, be removed from the summer camp, because it kind of seems like there's a serial killer on the loose and that any one of them could be next. Camp Arawak doesn't seem to be really big on the whole communication thing, much to its trauma-uninformed nature. Not only did they not communicate with parents that there was a serial killer running around, but I'm guessing that there also wasn't a place on the summer camp application form where they asked, "Does your child have any special considerations that we should know about?" I can't even imagine what the vegan kids did. The camp counselors certainly weren't trauma-informed. I mean, more than one of them definitely wouldn't have passed their vulnerable sector check to make sure those working with children aren't sex offenders. Camp counselors regularly join in on teasing Angela, mocking her for being quiet and sitting on the sidelines. One of them even gets in Angela's face and screams at her, and it's like, "Sister, what are we projecting here? Leave the kid alone." Trauma-informed training would ensure that camp staff were A, not sex offenders, and B, knew how to work with children who were vulnerable or required special care and attention because they were both told that such a camper would be under their care, and also because they received special training in working with vulnerable populations. Angela does seem to have a couple of resources on her side. Her cousin Ricky and sweet meathead camp counselor Ronnie, who seems to step in always in the shortest of shorts to offer an empathetic voice, a "Hey, what's going on here? Are you okay, Angela?" and a rippling bicep to cling to when times are tough. Bless you, Ronnie. We thank you for your service. Cousin Ricky stands up for his cousin Angela throughout the movie as perhaps the only person who understands how Angela's traumatic past impacts the way she shows up in the world today, and that she just needs a little extra care and consideration. It's not that hard, people. Angela murders a lot of people, but she doesn't murder Ricky because she loves him. Another resource, I think, could also be the men's fashion in this movie. Now that could heal us all if men could just step it up and wear more crop tops and jean shorts like in the 80s. What happened to your whimsy? But alas, not even the croppedest of tops could save little Angela from this trauma-uninformed nightmare in Sleepaway Camp.
Do you ever think about a random pop culture moment?
Like something that dominated the culture and then quietly disappeared?
We do, constantly.
This is Bestie Listen.
Every week, we revisit the most niche corners of pop culture.
The stuff that shaped us, for better or worse.
And ask, what was that?
And more importantly, why do we love it?
We celebrate it.
We question it.
And give it the level of analysis it absolutely did not ask for.
Stream Bestie Listen on iHeartRadio, Crave,
or wherever you get your podcasts.
The word trauma comes from the Greek word for wound. It is a wound that forms inside of you following an incident or experience. Renowned Canadian physician, developmental and trauma specialist Gabor Mate has said, "Trauma is not what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside you as a result of what happened to you." There are a number of trauma-related symptoms, many of which Angela experiences in Sleepaway Camp, but here's a more comprehensive list. Difficulty sleeping, nightmares or night terrors, panic attacks, suicidal ideation, flashbacks, difficulty focusing or making decisions, being confused or overwhelmed, even in everyday situations, numbness, unable to enjoy things like you used to, irritability, anger, aggression, or even violence, avoiding trauma-related events, places, or people, depression, and anxiety. All of these symptoms demonstrate that the brain may still be in fight or flight mode from the traumatic event. Symptoms can last for several months after the precipitating event. Where trauma is considered post-traumatic stress, or PTSD, depends on both its duration and its intensity. PTSD is considered when the individual experiences these symptoms for more than 3 months after the precipitating event, and the symptoms are of such severity that it impacts the individual's daily functioning to the point where it is either difficult or impossible to maintain their life, relationships, work, family, community, self-care, and so forth. 2 people can experience the same event, and one person can become traumatized by it, while another may simply experience the event as difficult or challenging. And why is that? Well, there's something called scaffolding. These are supports that a person has both before and after the event, and they impact the formation of a psychic wound or a trauma. These things include severity of the incident, of course, pre-existing vulnerabilities like adverse childhood experiences or lack of current support, security, or resourcing in one's life, lack of access to mental health treatment or resources following the incident, and most importantly, in my opinion, lack of community, meaning friends, family, and other community members who are there to support, acknowledge, and help you integrate following the incident. This last one, lack of community and recognition that the trauma occurred in the first place, is what really solidifies Angela's experience of trauma. You can't just take the place of your dead sister and never talk about it and walk away unscathed. You just can't. When environments are trauma-informed, it means that instead of looking at someone and saying, "What's wrong with this person? Why are they acting so strange?" that we should be asking, "What happened here? What is informing the way this person is showing up right now?" Trauma-informed environments recognize the impact of trauma and focus on creating physically and emotionally safe environments to prevent re-traumatization. On the trauma-informed scale, I would place Camp Arawak somewhere around a -6 out of 10. What could a trauma-informed sleepaway camp have looked like for Angela? Firstly, it probably wouldn't be a sleepaway camp. For someone with so much trauma, the comfort and familiarity of family might be very welcomed at the end of an overwhelming day filled with new people and situations. At the same time, would it really do Angela any good to return to her crazy aunt at the end of every day of summer camp? She seemed very uncomfortable with her as she left for camp. She was stiff, she was suspicious. So it's not like her home environment was great either. Ugh, Angela. Okay. The camp also probably wouldn't have taken place in the exact same setting as where her family was savagely murdered by a renegade boat. While it would be good for Angela to face her triggers, I mean, you can't avoid boats and outside forever. Believe me, I've tried. Perhaps dropping her into such an immersively triggering environment all at once was not the best approach. I would have maybe, I don't know, asked Angela what kind of camp she'd like to go to. Maybe Angela would have liked to go to drama camp, like in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants too. She could have soaked in the benefits of art and play therapy at drama camp alongside her new best friend, America Ferrera. Okay, maybe I would have just cast Angela as one of the friends in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Wouldn't that have been so much nicer for her? She could have shared pants with her friends. Okay, sorry. In lieu of being cast in a completely different movie, I actually would still have sent her to some kind of summer camp with cousin Ricky because he's such a sweet little baby angel. She clearly trusts him and there's a lot of emotional safety there. Ricky clearly loves Angela a lot too, and they could look out for each other. Okay, this is important. No matter where I sent little Angela, I would have informed the camp staff that this is a very traumatized child coming their way who struggles with social interactions, mood regulation, has flashbacks, and perhaps requires a little extra attention. And then I would have asked them if they have the staff and resources to support such a sweet little angel. And finally, I would probably make sure that none of the staff members are pedophiles. That's important. A card that I associate with Sleepaway Camp is the Five of Wands, because what a mess. What in God's name are any of the people in this card doing? They probably had good intentions when they began trying to put together whatever this summer camp is in this card that looks like a total mess. But because there is a complete lack of communication between staff, parents, law enforcement, anyone, the whole thing is a total and complete mess. I want to walk into this card and just stop everyone and be like, hold on a second. Wait, what are we doing? Let's talk. If we could all communicate, work in the same direction, and make sure everyone is safe, supported, and again, no pedophiles are being hired, I'm sure we could really build something special out of these wands you've been swinging around like the rogue boat that killed Angela's family.
The newest tracks. Let's go. New music. And the next big thing.
Always on the new music first.
Your first place to hear it all.
'Cause you gon' like it, love it, wanna play it twice. Playing now.
iHeart New Music. Your digital station for brand new drops, fresh finds, and tomorrow's bangers.
I think we need something new.
Discover iHeart New Music. Always fresh, always first. Stream now on the free iHeartRadio app.
Could all of these deaths have been prevented had Camp Arawak been a trauma-informed summer camp? I like to hope so, yes, but I also think that going one step further back and getting Angela some trauma and grief support following the death of her father in Angela 1 could have gone a long way. My heart really breaks for Angela, and I actually cringe whenever I watch the final scene of Sleepaway Camp, where Angela is revealed as the killer and her full body is shown to the camera in this sort of gotcha moment. She is supposed to appear monstrous, a horrifying monstrosity of a girl, and I didn't like how it made me feel. If that scene was shot today, I would hope it would be shot with more care, treating Angela less like a spectacle and more like a person in deep pain who did not receive the care they needed to heal. And that, my ghouls, is the story of Sleepaway Camp and the importance of trauma-informed spaces. I really can't decide whether or not I like this movie, and I feel like it will just kind of be lurking in my mind forever. Mental Health is Horrifying is researched, written, and edited by me, Candis Green, registered and spooky psychotherapist, and proudly produced in partnership with iHeartRadio Canada. If you like this podcast, please consider rating and reviewing on your preferred listening platform. It really helps the show to reach all the other spooky ghouls out there, and I will be eternally grateful. And an eternity is a very long time for a vampire, okay? If you're a mental health professional who wants to learn how to ethically incorporate tarot into your clinical work with confidence, join Tarot for Creative Therapists, where you will learn practical exercises for how to support clients with tarot integrated therapy sessions alongside the evidence-based therapeutic modalities you already work with. You can follow me on Instagram at Mental Health is Horrifying, and you can also learn more about me and my services through my website, manymoonstherapy.com. Or you can also howl at the moon and I will hear your call. Bright blessings.
So this is a podcast about video games.
Kind of.
It's also about friendship.
Definitely.
And chaos.
Unavoidably.
Welcome to It's Dangerous to Go Alone.
A podcast where we talk games, culture, nostalgia, and immediately go off topic.
There is no gatekeeping. There is no skill check.
If you win a game on easy mode, we support you.
If you've never touched a controller, honestly, same energy for some of us.
It's fun, it's chaotic, it's friendship with a loose gaming theme.
And somehow we keep getting away with it.
You should listen. Stream It's Dangerous to Go Alone on the free iHeartRadio app.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.